Day of silence.
Lol. Alright. Hi, Rhea.
Hi.
So, what were your first memories of LGBTQ people? When did you become first aware of queer people and homophobia?
To be honest, I don't remember a first formative memory about LGBT plus people. I think it was just something that I became aware of when I was growing up, definitely during middle school, when people started to use "that's so gay" and a lot of other derogative slurs directed towards the community. I think that's when I became aware. I think growing up in a Chinese household, it's not really talked about a lot of the time, and you sort of figure out things on your own, and you become more aware in the news, and I think that's how it came up for me. It was sort of a self-discovery, and it was not something that really one event defined for me.
What were your first experiences with hearing people? Do you remember the first time you heard "that's okay," "dyke," "faggot"?
Yeah, I think that it was always sort of around when I was in middle school, and I mean definitely in high school, but more so middle school I became aware of it. I think there were moments when, hearing the slur suddenly became something that I took note of. I think before it was just sort of part of the everyday culture of middle school and everybody saying stupid things, but realizing that some of my friends and people I cared about were part of that community really made me aware of how important and how much we need to focus on the way people act, and especially the way we're sort of as bystanders some of the time. And I think really acknowledging that these are people. I had a lot of teachers who were either gay or had same-sex partners, and knowing that those were the people I respected so much made me really want to speak up in those moments. But it was definitely a journey, and I had to come around to sort of being brave enough to say something.
Was there ever a time you weren't an ally?
I wouldn't say there was a time that I wasn't an ally. I would say there were times when I wasn't a vocal ally. Definitely, again, moments when I was younger and people said things and I just thought that if I spoke up that it would bring attention to me, and I didn't want that when I was younger. I wanted to sort of blend into the crowd, but I think when you get older you start to realize that it's just as important to say something when you hear it than to, if you're the person's, oh god, don't we cut that one?
I'm gonna cut it.
Yeah, but I think it's just as important to say something when you hear someone else say it, and that makes such a huge difference in comparison to if you're the person who's actually saying the original comment. I think being part of the crowd is like a strange role to be in, but one that you have to be really aware of while it's happening.
Why is it important that we talk about issues of sexual and gender minorities in high school?
I think it's really important to talk about these things in high school because it's a time when a lot of people are figuring these things out, and when you sort of open up these conversations, it lets people explore those parts of themselves as well. I think if you ignore them and sort of pretend that they don't exist, a lot of people are also forced to think that it's not an important part of their identity or not a real part of their identity. So I think exploring it during high school just lets people really accept who they are.